Another episode of the Think Successfully Room. This is a platform where we focus on building mindsets, we building character, bringing value to both you and your people, and aligning your body with your intelligence. I am your host, QB So effing amazing. Uh Q, appreciate you for hopping on this video call with me, but before we get into the questions, I just want to let everybody know that you're a certified mindset coach and personal development, which is big because everybody needs some type of mentor guidance, especially when it comes to the mindset. Um, so before we go too, further into the episode, could you explain how did you like what made you want to become a certified mindset coach?
Well, thank you for allowing me to have this space with you, QB.
Hmm.
I'm definitely grateful for being on your show. But yeah, to answer your question, what made me get into or where did it come from? So at 18, I knew what my purpose was. I
Hmm.
already knew I had this premature notion of I wanted to help. I wanted to give back. Like I knew I had to help. And but I didn't go into that direction. You're 18, you don't know what's going on. So life is just I'm just doing whatever life is doing at 18. So I'm
Absolutely.
pivoting forward within my life. I've definitely established myself in different things. As far as I used to be a fashion designer, I did that for 8.5 years. I'm in the IT field at my job. I've been doing that for 15 years. So I think it landed to me, not some more think, I know it landed to me when I was a designer and I'm just like, this isn't it for me.
Hmm.
And I'm doing this for 8 years, and I'm thinking that I'm understanding that I'm here to help. And this was more in the fashion sense. Like I'm collaborating with different talented people. Um, and I'm also exploring the options saying that I want you to love what you wear by expression. And that's what I do when it comes to my design. Like my whole entire personality persona is about expressing yourself in fashion.
Hmm.
And I was just like, you know what? This is definitely not it. And I was just like, I'm tired. And I don't know if this is where I want to keep this going. So I'm just like, okay, I pivot forward. I've done my due diligence of 8 years. Last year, I want to say 2022, I'm just like, no, I'm just going to fall off and I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to give myself a year. And the people that have been following me for a very long time and uh, just been there, just been showing their presence. Like, so what are you doing? And I've just been definitely just not being present. So 2023, I'm like, I'm figuring it out. I'm gonna figure it out by next year. By 2024, I'm going to figure it out. But right now, I need to just sit because I've been just working. I've always been a working person. I'm just like, I have to sit with myself and see what this feels like. Around October of last year, I'm just like, it's getting close to that time. I know that I cannot force it and it'll come to me. So I'm praying and I'm doing my part within my self-care. And November of last year, I had an awakening. I was in the bed. I was like, everybody keeps saying like you're in the wrong field and I'm not listening. And I'm like, okay, let me listen. Let me have a conversation with God. And I was like, what is it? What is sticking? I'm stuck somewhere. So I had an awakening. I was like, I don't want to go back to school. I don't want to do all these different things. I was like, I can do mentorship, but how long does it take? And I'm just like, I'm a coach. I'm gonna be a life coach. So I then it was like 10 o'clock at night. I'm on my phone and I'm doing research about coaching. Uh, I started within the Jay Shetty school, and I just got certified in July, excuse me, this year, 2024. And I have not looked back or never not regretted anything in this journey, in this path. Like I enjoy it. I love
I got
learning and understanding new people where they're getting stuck at, because I was that person. I'm a product of the environment. So
hmm
I was like, you know what? Let's kind of remove all that me being stuck and figure it out. And I figured it out. And that's where it landed. And here I am now. I'm working. I'm still learning, though. I'm still doing a lot of learning. But right now, this is where I'm at.
that's the important thing is continuing to learn. So just first of all, congrats on that. You know,
Thank you.
on your new journey. The first thing I'm curious about is, I guess, when you landed in that field, because obviously you was trying to figure out what works. You know, when you landed in that field, was it people around you that you seen that needed help? Like as far as your relatives, it could be friends that you see that needed the guidance, that told you like, look, this is the field to stay in, or you kind of just went like with your gut feeling, with your intuition that told you this is where you should be at.
That's a great question. So it all started when I was in COVID. During
Mhm.
COVID, a lot of things, during COVID can definitely open up your perspective of life.
It did. It definitely did.
And where I'm at was things just kept happening. It was sporadic. Like I would go to a place, like I would step into a store or whatever, and I will always get random people, that random thing where people just talking to you and just having a conversation like you've known me for years. And I'm just like, I really don't know you, but I would sit there and listen.
Yeah.
If I'm in the hallway at work, uh, when I come back in my office, they were like, where you been? I was like, somebody stopped me in the hallway and just wanted to talk.
Yeah.
And it just was a continuation. Also, nature,
Mhm.
animals was approaching me. And I'm just like, I didn't even know what this was. Like, like all different types of animals, insects. And I'm just like, this is very odd. And it was talking. And I just wasn't listening because it wasn't loud enough.
Mhm.
And then I will always get phone calls. I always say that my phone is always open at any given time of the day, because like there's mental health, there's so many other things that people are going through, and I don't want to be a disservice. Like I say, I've always known at 18 that I wanted to help, but like I said, I leaned and honed into it. So it started there. It just was working up, and then the volume came more louder and louder, and it was just like, then it was smacking me in my face, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
okay, I get it.
You
So
know,
that's
if I would have seen, you know, because the way I look at that, if you got insects and animals and just all these different creatures approaching you, that says something about your positive energy. Like your energy is just where it needs to be at. If animals is brave enough to even get, you know, to sense to get that close to you. So that, you know, if I was somebody that witnessed that, that would have made me want to approach you and say, hey, how are you? And then there's no telling where that conversation could have went. Um, now, it was a framework that you had mentioned. Was it the 6 L's? Uh,
of
could
living,
you
yes.
explain that frame? Because everybody need a good framework. Could you explain that frame?
So yeah, Q. The 6 L's of living started off while I was going through this transition of like this journey. Um, I would pray these L's,
Mm,
and I would say, please give me the strength to be able to live, love, learn, listen, lead, and let go. And it will always be laugh. So
mm,
I didn't incorporate the laugh as the seventh L, because that is a whole different um, a different way of looking at things. So I said that constantly, and I did not know. Like, I didn't know this was going to work up to where it is.
mhm.
Like, we believe in so many different things, but when it comes to life telling you something, as I always say, it's telling me something, and I didn't know. And I'm just like, I'm going to use this. Instead of saying it inward, I'm going to express it outward. So the 6 L's of living is about going through your mindset about, are you loving yourself? How are you loving yourself? Are you loving others the way that you want to be loved? Like, it's going to be a lot of questions within that specific thing of love. Are you living? How are you living? Are you living the life that you want to live, or are you living something that you just seems like you're stuck with?
I like that.
Are you learning? Are you learning more? Do you feel like you're not in a space where you're just like, I need more foundation within my learning? And are you listening to yourself? Stop listening to others and start listening to yourself.
Mm, I like that.
And then
Uh,
leading. Are you leading or are you following? Be that leader. Or if you're leading, if you are leading, are you allowing people to lead with you?
mm,
And the last one is letting go. Have you let go of a lot of things in your past? And I always say to let go of so much stuff that's in the future, because we got to live within the moment.
right. Absolutely. Right.
And and letting go of things that hurt you or anxiety. We face it, but it's okay. You know where you are. You know that you have anxiety.
So other words, you believe that when you have difficulties letting something go from the past, it does in a sense hinder you and prevent you from really achieving personal growth. That
Yes.
okay, yeah, I like that. So when you approach somebody, because obviously I'm sure you could tell somebody's mindset, probably the first few minutes of talking to them. What are some key elements that you look for in somebody's mindset, and how what help you gauge exactly where they mindset at? Like, what's some key elements you look for in a person, the way a person thinks?
That's also a great question. The first thing I'm looking at is their eyes, their body language.
Mm,
Um,
confidence.
like if it is or if it isn't, if it is confidence or if it isn't confidence, if
Mm,
it's you're timid or like it's a specific persona. And I'm not being there's no judgment. I'm not coming in with no judgment. I'm coming in, you are giving me you.
right,
So
right.
that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at you. I'm not looking at what you want, like who you're trying to be because of something that you created yourself to be like someone else. I want to discover who you are.
Mm,
And that's what I'm looking at. So the first thing I'm going to ask, like, how are you feeling? And no, how truly, like, how are you completely feeling right now? And don't just say I'm okay, because people just say that. Or I'm good. Like, are you good though?
right, right. So you want them to really explain what how they're feeling.
I want them to go very transparent, be vulnerable, and I'm going to create that space. It's
Hmm.
about creating that space of being vulnerable to say, look, this is what's going on. This is what I'm having trouble with, and I'll read it. Like, you're going to tell me everything. I'm not here to really come in with some type of, even though I will come in with intuition, but I'm curious.
Right, right.
I'm coming with curiosity because I want to be able to understand who you are fully, completely, unapologetically. This is what we're doing. We're derobing, we letting the hair down, taking off the makeup, whatever it is men do to just disengage and engage within yourself. So that's what I'm paying attention to. It's definitely, where you are, because your voice can say a lot too.
Mm. What
Um,
you
right.
Yeah, I was looking for an explanation with the voice. Like what you like as far as the how or could you explain that, like with the voice, how are you able to tell with just the way that they speak or project themselves?
So a voice can be stuttery, like it could be a little bit of. So I go with voice and audio because I'm an audio video engineer. And
Okay.
have you ever listened to when volume is staticky,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
when it staggers or when it's too high pitched?
Yeah, it's distorted
Yeah.
or it becomes
So
distorted.
I'm gonna use that as example. When we're listening to something and we know that something's not right, not right.
Hmm.
Like, I'm talking about if you're listening to music or just listening to the tremble, whatever, however you want to look at it, listen to it. That's how it is when it comes to the voice. So
Hmm.
if we're listening to those things and you're just like, okay, well, I'm sensing something, or I'm feeling something in your voice, and then there becomes language, body language.
Mm,
Because if you're smiling, or if I say something and it makes you like feel unsure or uneven, or you're angry, we go through these emotions, but it's your body language as well. So if we're going to do your voice, I always take it as I'm a metaphoric person, so I go with metaphors. So if we're going to talk about it, it's more on if you was listening to something audio,
I like,
and you can distinct certain things.
yeah. Do you okay, so when it comes to, let's say there's a relationship, right?
Mhm.
Woman and man. Do you believe you can go in a relationship like both people, both partners should have a the same level of mindset, or do you believe one person can have a solid mindset and they may be able to help build her mindset, or vice versa?
I believe that it can happen, but it has to be with self first. You can tell
Mm,
somebody all day, like,
yeah.
hey, you know what? I'm gonna help you go through this. But
Mm,
you have to be the initiator. You first have to be the initiator.
mm.
And if you're not, I'm sorry, my dog is barking. But if you're not internally initiating
Mm,
yourself and doing the work, somebody can tell you that all day till they blue in the face.
right, right.
And you don't want to be able to collie them and baby them, but
Mm,
you do want to give them guidance. And if they're ready to do this, some self-awareness and some self-care, and a focus on, I call it internal, and if you're willing to do that and you give yourself grace, then yeah, that person, that partner of yours, that companion of yours, you can go off and do great things and do it together in harmony. I always use the word harmony. I've been using the word harmony lately, and you definitely want to have a harmonious relationship, but you got to be able to want to do the work.
right, right. And I think listening is a big thing too. Like some people just don't want to listen. Um, And I feel like that's a big one is having it, like if somebody is telling you or trying to help guide you or steer you in the right direction, I think you have to have the ability to listen as well. I done witness, couples, it could be the girl telling the guy something he need to hear, or the guy telling the girl something that she needs to hear, but she can't handle the truth, or he can't handle the truth, and
Absolutely.
it creates this argument. So in those situations, it's like, okay, well, at this point, if it's going to create an argument every time you call them out on something, maybe y'all need to just separate and find each other first, and then when you get to where you need to be at, then y'all come together. You know what I'm saying? Because
Absolutely.
right
Yeah,
now it's kind of like every time you call them out on something, it's too much. It's too much of your energy being given away every time you have to argue about something that's not really worth arguing about.
I definitely
Uh,
agree. It's definitely about that energy.
yeah.
It's definitely about communicating, listening.
Hmm. Um, your dog bark. I'm sorry. What kind of dog do you have?
He's a miniature schnauzer.
Okay.
He's a black haired, blue eye miniature schnauzer. His name is Wally.
Okay, okay. I'm not sure what a schnauzer look like, but
It's the
just
one
just
with the beard.
oh, is that the Lady and the Tramp? Okay, okay. No, that's a good looking dog. But back to, so when it comes to, let me see where I was at.
We're talking about relationships and the having a foundation of communicating and listening and things of that nature.
Yeah, yeah. So have you dealt with any clients yet where you had to kind of help with that, with a situation like that?
More of a relationship.
More of a relationship, or it could be them in a relationship and they seeking advice on how to, you know, improve each other's, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Actually, I have. uh, and even though I'm a mindset coach,
Yeah.
things just happen where people want to actually come to me and they're looking for something.
Hmm.
I also don't come in with giving you the answer. You're the first thing that I have dealt with, and the first thing I sometimes say is, because if someone is having a combative conversation with their partner,
Yeah.
is something that you want to do differently that you could have done to prevent where you are going. And did you listen? Because the person is giving you the answer. They gave you the answers to the test the
Hmm.
whole time. If you're trying to figure out what the answer is, they gave it to you.
Hmm.
And why didn't you pass the test? They gave you the answer. So, and it could be challenging because people can be naive, or they can be they could do things that can be what is the word that I'm used that I want to use, defensive,
Yeah, that's a big one.
being very defensive, and start to be, it's about self, it's about me.
Hmm.
You have to look at the person in a third person tense. You can't just be one position, two position. And one of my because right now I'm taking neuro linguistics programming, I'm getting my certification in that.
Okay.
And one of the techniques they use is about the three positions. And the first one is self, your first position. Your second one is the partner, your whoever you are talking to. And third person, meaning you're looking so much outside because now you're taking it and putting it into a different shoe. Like it's
Hmm.
like you're the counseling of the relationship, but you're not thinking about yourself. You're not thinking about the person. You're starting to be self-aware about what's going on here. How can we how can we connect? How can we adjust, assess? How can we get to the source of destination? Where is it? Where can we find balance at?
Hmm.
It's not about just you. It's not about just me. It's about us. So that third person is the us. So and I think that within a relationship, you have to understand and find that balance. Where you pick up, where you fall at, where can they pick up at?
Right.
Not
Absolutely. Yeah.
not where if I'm at 30%, okay, can you get my 70?
Hmm.
You
That's
know, if I'm at 10%, can you get my 90? And it's not 100 100. It's never going to be that because we're
and
not perfect.
not making each other feel bad during the
Yeah.
process. That's another big one. Because it really it defeats the purpose to sit here and you know pick up if I'm coming thirty
Excuse me.
percent and you coming 70, it defeats the purpose to do that if you still gonna kick me when I'm down or try to make me
Right.
look bad and any whenever you get the opportunity to. Um, Q,
And
I
do it
got
because you want to, not
yeah
because you're trying to do it because this is what you're asking for. No, do it because you fully want to come in, and you're willing
to
to
fix this.
yeah, and to
Yeah.
understand. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I like that. I like this conversation. Um, Q, I got another. So what's now this is something I struggle with at one point is the procrastination part.
Uh-huh.
Procrastination is a big one. That'll kill a lot of things. So what's some advice for, individuals, including myself, when it comes to, uh motivation, procrastination, and just self-doubt?
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to ask is it something that you don't procrastinate in? What is one thing that you don't procrastinate in?
One thing I don't procrastinate in. I would say when it's time to, I would say moving. Like I can't not go on a walk or maybe go to the gym. I have to be moving, doing something, staying physically fit. At least 5 days a week. I don't procrastinate in that. Now, if it's something I know I have to do on the computer, it can be, I'm probably writing something, maybe a book. It could be anything with my finances. I
Okay.
may I may procrastinate in those areas at some point,
Okay.
before. So my son is I would say he's finna be 4 months and on the 20th.
Okay.
And before him, I was experiencing procrastination, but when he got here, that's when the procrastination kind of uh I guess diminish. When he
Hmm.
was here, I didn't waste no time because
Okay.
or maybe it was the purpose I needed to eliminate that procrastination.
Okay. So you just said it's the purpose.
Yeah, yeah, maybe it
So
was the purpose.
so you just said that it was the purpose, but you said one thing that you don't procrastinate is I have to keep moving. I have to go to the gym. If you don't go to the gym, what happens?
I'm finna get fat and sloppy and unhealthy, and
Okay.
I'm just not gonna have the appearance that I want.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if what is one thing that you do procrastinate? You said like getting up. I don't know if that's where you were leading into is you procrastinate in like writing or something, or what is it one thing that you procrastinate?
One thing I would say one thing right now. So I'm in the process of putting together my living revocable trust. Right now,
Okay.
I've been procrastinating on this. I've been working on it piece by piece, but the idea is that when you work on something, you continue to do it until you get it done. I started working on my living revocable trust last October, and it's still not completed.
What is that? Live
So
over
my living
comfortable.
revocable trust is just uh how can I put it? It's a document where I put all my property assets and things in
Okay.
there in that nature to help protect those assets.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you was to take this as um, so you said that you gave me the gym, you gave me I'll be flat and fat and sloppy.
Mm,
Take you gave this word the trust that you have that you're working on, and if you was to understand that, what would happen if you don't get it done?
mm. Okay. Okay. No, that's a good. I never asked myself that question. Okay.
What will
Or is you
happen?
oh, you asking me what would happen?
Yeah.
Oh, if I didn't get that done, if I didn't get that done, there's not a guarantee that everything that I have worked for would, my son would get 100% of it.
So
Yeah.
now it's on what's stopping you now. So now you know the why. If you now the you know the if it don't happen.
Right, right.
So the more and more you keep now I'm asking you, the more and more you keep waiting on it, is it getting done?
Nah, it's not. Nope.
So and that's where I you just allowed yourself the space. Like I'm here to just I'm asking questions, the open-ended questions, so you can get the identifying of what your answer is. If you don't get it done, you already know what happens. So now you need to know what you need to do to get it done. Because the
Hmm.
more and more you keep procrastinating, you don't, and I'm going to say this, you don't know if you're going to be here today or tomorrow.
Absolutely. I was just thinking. It's like you. I was just thinking that. Absolutely.
So,
That's what I was because that's the purpose of putting because you just it's a security thing. You know what I'm saying? Just if something happened to me and I had to leave this earth for whatever reason, just knowing that everything I work for is gonna go to my beneficiaries. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that's nah. I was just thinking that as you were speaking. Appreciate you for that.
yeah, most definitely. Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, because it's like the same, even though it was a personal question, but I'm sure as other people in that same, it ain't necessarily got to be them procrastinating on a living revocable trust, but it could be some things that they want to get done that they're procrastinating on. That question can help them find clarity on how to proceed with whatever project that may be.
Absolutely. And I think
Yeah.
that's a great, what you're doing right now is amazing. There are
Thank
people
you.
that's not out there that is looking that forward.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Uh, Before we hop off, is it anything you want to share with the audience? Do you have any books available? Uh, I am gonna drop your website in the description, but is there anything you want to share with me, the audience?
Yeah, so I want, first of all, thank you so much for allowing this space. I say this because I'm definitely grateful. Um,
No,
and
appreciate you for hopping
for
on.
our culture, we need this because
Absolutely.
we we just some people just don't know, and if you don't know, you don't know.
Hmm.
But you need to know. And for the viewers or for the listeners, for those individuals that are feeling stuck and uneven, or they're in a space where it's making your internal freeze, so like your mental freeze, but
Yeah.
you're moving, but you're still frozen, and you want to have that conversation. You can reach out to me. I'm pretty sure QB is going to drop that, but I'm going to put it out there.
Mm,
You can go to my website, leo.co. Loyal is the backwards name of it. So if you're spelling loyal, spell it and spell it backwards.
okay.
LAYOL. Um, and that's .co. And you can reach me on social media platforms, leo.loyal. It doesn't even matter which platform you're in, just Leo Loyal. Um,
Right.
and excuse me, I'm on LinkedIn as well as Kiana Brown. But for those people that are inspiring coaches, right now I am reading A Prosperous Coach by Rich Litvin, and it's an amazing read. Um, there is a YouTube video, or just it's more of a listening, and it's called The Mind. If you look it up, it's The Mind. I can send it to you just in case.
Okay.
But amazing. It's about subconscious and conscious thinking,
Mm,
about subjective and objective.
mm.
And but other than that, like I said, I thank you for the time, QB. I know that everything within your space in your life, like right now,
Yeah.
like now that we've had a conversation, I know that you know what you need to do.
And you know what? I'm actually keep in touch. Like everything I complete, especially that living revocable trust, I'm gonna send it to you, letting you know
Okay.
that I finished it. You know, letting you know that I'm not on here just listening or just watching you talk. Like I'm actually soaking in what you saying, and I'm gonna take that advice and I'm gonna get it done. So I'm gonna definitely, when I finish that trust, I'm gonna screenshot or take a picture of it. I'm gonna send it to you, let you know, like, look, Q, I finished this, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, and I want to say, like, and I know people ask this question, but how will you celebrate that? Like, what's the win that you get out of it? What are you going to do once you've done it?
Once I've done it. So I got this system. I'm not really sure what I want to label this system yet. So I had bought some tokens off of Amazon, little cheap tokens.
Mhm.
I think 100 came in the pack. So I've been practicing delayed gratification. You know, a lot of us purchase things off emotion. And it's I can't really say exactly what I want to do or how I would celebrate. But the thing is that I don't draw like the token. It's pretty much giving me authority to do something, to celebrate or gift myself with something, So when I finish that living revocable trust, I'm gonna draw from one of them tokens, and that tokens is gonna let me know, like, look, I'm proud of you. You finished that project, huh? Go gift yourself with this, and that could be whatever it is I was thinking about doing. I just wasn't doing it until I finished the project that I was procrastinating on.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
can't. Could you do me one favor though?
What's that?
What is your son name?
Cairo.
That's a beautiful name.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And maybe this could get you to understand about procrastination. Every day you look, or today when we're done, look at him.
Hmm.
And when I say look into him, and that will give you and when you look, you're saying, if you say to yourself, I'm not procrastinating, you look at him and say, I'm not procrastinating. Because he don't know what he can't understand what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
But, and the more and more, like, not to waste a day or time and space, but just looking at him and knowing that I'm doing this for you, because that's what you're doing. But
Right,
look
right.
at him and understand that's what this is about. Like how much love and effort and willingness that you want to do for him. And it's beautiful when you allow that. Like you automatically jumped and you didn't. And nobody, like I said, nobody's not going to get it right. But that's the thing. You're willing and able to make sure that it's right for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I'm gonna do that today. I'm gonna do that today. Uh,
And see how that makes you feel. And daily, like I don't know if that a reminder will keep rolling in your mind. Like
mhm.
it's Groundhog's Day. You wake up, and the more and more you feel like you procrastinate, and look at him.
Cause I could, what I was, you know, I just started this. What I could do is normally when and this can be an affirmation, anything, I will write it down on a sticky note and stick it on my computer monitor. And because I'm knowing every day I look at this monitor, so I could write something that say like, look at your son today, and
And there you go.
remind yourself why you doing what you doing. And I think that'll help, you know, keep it cycling in my mind.
That'll be awesome. Screensaver, a picture
And,
with
and
like,
anything, yeah. Anything. Appreciate, you know, I needed that. I mean, this conversation helped me as well. You know, I wanted you to come on for, you know, the audience, but this, you know, speaking to you helped me as well. So appreciate you for that, Q.
yes. And I just want to let everybody know, like I so I was literally scrolling until I found the right person. Like it
Oh,
wasn't because, oh no, I see this person. No, I did some back history. Like I went into and I listened to your podcast. Like I was listening and I was just like, okay, this is what I want to be. This is where I want to be.
thank you. Thank you for even considering, because it's a lot of people on Matchmaker. So for you to scroll and know, like, look, this is where I want to be. Thank you. Like that mean a lot to me. That made
Yeah.
me feel like you know, I'm doing something right. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, so I mean, without that, we can go ahead and close out. Life is good. Life is wonderful. Be blessed to be alive. Self-sufficiency is how you survive. To the kings and queens, to the guys and goddess, forever and always. Think successfully. Yeah.